This is your host, Vic, as usual. And today we have the Sunn Life Pedal version 3 from EarthQuaker devices. Now, this is a very hefty pedal with a lot of features inside of it. And currently we are playing through the Workstation 2 by Novation, as it is still a monophonic pedal, so I'm using a mono synth. So, go ahead and just like the video as it's appreciated and share it around just to start off, because I'm going to get really annoyed about that. And anyways, let's just start going through the different features here. This tone of it without anything on was originally just, and then I had everything on, which didn't sound like. So it is a very heavy and distorted style of pedal. Cool. So let's just go through the different features, which also it did come with an instruction manual a little bit, but it makes it very easy to be able to essentially just see what we're doing here. Now, the fun part about this, and this is actually kind of funny, this is the second time I started recording this because I had to change the synthesizer I was using, because the original, like, this has so much top end gain to it, especially on the amplitude side. Like, I don't think if you can hear it when I turn the amplitude on. This, and then you can hear how it's pulling so much, you can actually hear a little bit of noise. Originally, I was trying to record this on the Micro Freak, but there was so much just pull from the gain and the circuitry at that point, and the Micro Freak, I guess, just didn't have as there's more metal in the front, and there's not as much shielding, I guess. And ended up picking up a radio station from a few cities away from me, and I was able to hear about the local weather. So that wouldn't have been a good video unless you wanted to see what the weather's like. But let's just go ahead and start going through the different things here. Just starting on the controls, we have octave, which is essentially that's just blending analog octave as you turn it clockwise. Distortion, which, I mean, that's just distortion, but the craziest thing about it is that it will, that's what I was talking about the gain, it provides 60 decibels. 60 decibels. That's a lot. The filter is just a filter where it goes from 500 hertz to 30 kilohertz. And the amplitude is essentially the output volume for the octave distortion here, which, I mean, you're just going and throwing it up, which is actually kind of funny when you look at the manual. Let me see if I can find it in here. The manual, it says, yeah, here. And you look right here, it says for the filter, I mean, for the amplitude, clockwise for more hearing loss and counterclockwise for healthy life and old age. And that's funny. I guess it's probably blow out of the amp too. And then it has a clipping switch here, which is just essentially, I think that's just called, yeah, this clip, but they use that font, so it gets a little bit silly. So the three types of clips is op amp, which is no diodes, that just lets everything else. Asymmetric, and then that says it's using 2 silicon diodes. And then symmetric, which is just the double silicon diode configuration, which is classic tone. So you can clip it if you need to, if you want to try and not blow everything out instantly, but you'll still have a little bit of fun. Cool. Then coming over here, we have magnitude, which has its own switch, and that's just the output volume for the booster, which again has a funny thing again, where it says clockwise to blow up your amp, counterclockwise if you are a baby. Unity is somewhere right around noon on the diode. I mean on the dial, which makes sense because that's kind of funny. And I mean, if you just crank everything, yeah, I already did that once, and there's really you can't get really anything out of it. It just blows everything apart. Lots of noise, and then amplitude, foot switch. So distortion, magnitude is the boost, and octave is the octave. And then it does have a slot for an expression pedal, which allows you to control the analog octave blend, which is pretty decent. And also warns you to make sure the power's off before doing that. And this is just still a standard 9-volt power. So that's about everything. So let's go and let's just start from the beginning again. Let's just crank everything down. Have just everything. I'll keep the clipping on. Yeah, op amp just for nothing. Just get everything down here. And then again, this is the tone we're starting with. So nothing really too crazy about that tone. It's just a tone-based tone. And then I'm trying to think about what's the best direction to go about this. Because obviously we don't need the boost to start out, because the boost will just blow everything up. All right, so yeah, let's just do with the, I'll just go through the boost setting first, which is magnitudes. This is nothing. Obviously, there's no volume going out because it's not boosted. And again, just a comparison. You can see why that is a severe boost. And then let's go and do, let's get the distortion and octave, just so we're getting both of those work at the same time. And obviously I can get amplitude up. Alright, so there's no distortion yet because that's just normal. And then the distortion is when we start getting the boost, which is there. The filter, I can demonstrate the filter a little bit better if I'm just going. But let's go and start going through the distortion. So you're going to slowly, well, I'm going to get a little bit of octave. Okay, yeah, there. And then again, the distortion is the whole 60 decibels. So we're going to start bringing up the distortion now. And now let's just do the magnitude while we're already here. And then I'm also, this is an editing note, because everyone's going to probably suspect this. I can see on my monitors right here, it is absolutely peaking to an insane level whenever I do anything. Like, it's completely red, so I know it's already clipping. I'm going to have to lower this in post. But we're going to start doing the different style clipping. So right now there's nothing clipped. So now we're going to do the asymmetrical clip. So again, we'll just go. really anything there to really clip because I had everything just so maxed out. So it's kind of hard to really show it off. What it's like, oh, this is clipping or this is doing something. It's kind of hard to show that when it's just completely being blasted with just decibels upon decibels. And like I said, I'm gonna have to edit this in post because, yeah, it's just peaking everything. That's not gonna really show anything. It's just noise at that point. So let's go and try and get a secondary tone that I can mess with, and then we'll see where we can go from there. And let's just let's figure out what we want the boost to start. So anyways, I think that gave a good perspective of whatever's going on here in terms, and by what I mean whatever's going on, I mean just this is what I feel like is a good thing here. Now let's just go over the points again, or as I always do. Good, solid metal construction, not the steppers, really responsive, knobs are responsive. They are in the style of screw ends where there's little screws on the sides to hold these in. Good grip on them, plastic, but they feel good. The pots feel good. Only thing I can give it, and this is just me because my vision isn't as good as it used to be, just specifically here for the clipping style, and it's nothing against them. I get this deck. It's just my sight ain't too good anymore. It's kind of a little bit hard to read for me with the font and the size of it, but that's just how it is. So it's nothing against them. Didn't come with feet. I put the feet on there myself, but everything else is pretty solidly decent. I don't have any problems with it, so I'll give it a good 4 out of 5. And for the sound itself, I mean, if I just want to just totally wreck or destroy something in terms of just an extensive amount of decibel gain, where to the point the booklet it came with makes fun of that. Yeah. This is a good one here. I can see like this would be good if you throw this, especially with some good reverb on it too. But in terms of like a super distortion, this is a good all-in-one style pedal with how much you can do with it. So for that, I'll give it like a 4.7 in terms of the quality of sound and how much you can do with it. It's just you have to be careful with what you use. If you use it with synthesizers, is that it seems it can't pick up the radio and you get some extra noise there. Well, with guitar, it is very nice depending on what amp you throw it through, just because the amps, of course, would all respond differently to having this much gain through them also. So in total, now let's give it a 4.38 out of 5. Good pedal. So this has been your host, Mick. Like and subscribe just because it goes ahead and helps me grow the channel, as we are doing very well. Actually, we're rapidly approaching a greater number of subs, because that's just how it is. The more people subscribe, that means we get more subs. Wow. And likes help just because of that whole engage view thing that YouTube's been doing now. And share this video around if you want anyone to see what this pedal is like through a synthesizer. Leave a comment just discussing the pedal or just to say hello. I don't care what it's about. I appreciate every comment. Or if you want to see this through anything else, like a drum machine or something like that, let me know. I just mostly focus on synthesizers because all these pedals are usually put on guitars, obviously. But I try to respond to every comment that I get, so I'll be sure to, respond. So comments are appreciated too. And if there is something that you do want to see this on, I usually can film that the same day upon release, just because people want to make informed buying decisions of what they have out there. But once again, this has been your host, Vic. I appreciate everyone's viewership. Thanks for watching. Bye.